What's up, y'all?
Yo,
Our nation, we back. We got your boy Mindset and Jay Hunt in the building. Let me hold on.
yes, sir.
Let me fix my name real quick. You know, what I mean, gotta know that.
Get it popping, baby.
I don't even know my government. You know what I'm saying? It's right here.
You had to take my government off earlier too, as well. Let's
You
roll with the
know,
hunter thing.
like let's get it going. But yeah, man. We back. Y'all know what we do. Bro Foundation. Shout out to everybody who checked out the last week's episode. That was a fire one. Um, Definitely some gems in that one. And like I said, we just gonna keep it moving. Shout out to our brothers who aren't able to make it with us today. But you know the vibes, man. Until we can own our time, life be life and life happens. You know what I mean? You gotta roll up the punches and we just do what we gotta do to make sure that we can at least stay continuous and consistent with putting out episodes, putting out, shows that way. It's all about the consistency, So even though a couple of us wasn't able to make it today, we'll keep it moving. Shout out to the brother Henry. Hope he's getting well. We all know it seems like this bug is coming back around. That whole Corona joint is kind of making its way around again. So make sure you're keeping yourself healthy. Make sure you're taking your supplements, taking your vitamins, eating properly, staying active. Those are the things that are going to help keep you healthy and keeping you out of that sickness's way. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody. Your brother Corey's at working right now. But yeah, man, we just want to, like I said, continue to bring good product to the people. And yeah, we're just gonna keep it moving. So before we get to that, man, how you living, brother Jess?
Doing well, brother. Blessed to be alive. I'm grateful. Looking forward to the future, like what we just talked our last talk. I got some good little feedback for myself and wrote some things down and spoke it to the universe. So now I'm excited for planting that seed. And we about to jump into something tonight that, is going to help us too as well. So
yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Yeah, bro. Same here, man. Just definitely thanks to all praise to the Most High for keeping me 10 toes down. You know, um, we can always complain about things that are going on in life, right? Like there's always something that we can truly complain about, but at the same time, we also know that there's probably somebody who wishes they were in our position. There's somebody who wishes they had the life that we have. No matter how, you know, no matter what we might think of our own life, there's somebody else who thinks would think highly of it. Like we it's just a matter of keeping it in perspective. Um, it's been a heavy week at work, but at the same time, I'm blessed to have a job and able to keep a roof over my head and not not worry about how bills are gonna get paid. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. We can have a tendency of taking it for granted. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so yeah, I just keep it moving and make sure that I'm not getting too. It can get tough sometimes. We all know that you can kind of get into a funk of things and kind of not necessarily get down on yourself, but just kind of overthink stuff and just you know really just kind of zone out in not the best way. But got to keep it moving. Got to understand that life is good. Of course, somebody could be better, but you know we gotta we for the most part, a lot of us have it good. So yeah, I just doing what I can to keep this perspective. Go back to work tomorrow after a couple of days off. It's been a little rough week, but I mean not even a little rough, but just sometimes it just gets exhausting. But that's what them days off is for. I mean, you gotta use them days off to reset and just be thankful that you have what you need to take care of the life that you got. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, today we're gonna get into another good topic. We're gonna get into something else good. I don't think we haven't really touched on this, so it's almost a good one to touch on. karma, you know, good karma. You know, what does it mean to have good karma or just to keep your karma intact? Um, you know, you hear people talk about all the time, you know, karma's a bitch and, you know, this and that. You know what I mean? Like people will get into that, not realizing that you are your karma. You are your karma. So if you are constantly saying that karma's a bitch, well, what do you continue to do to make that so? You know what I mean? Like so it's to me, karma is you are what you put out into the universe.
Yep.
So yeah, we're just gonna talk about, you know, that in and of itself and you know what you can do to keep your karma right. And if it ain't right now, what do you need to do to get it back right? You know, so yeah, man. So you know, I guess in a sense, how do you feel? What does karma mean to you? Actually, you know, start with
Man,
that.
it's definitely something that we all have to deal with. And like you said, it's either good or bad, right? So it all breaks down to the decisions that we make. So that all comes down to that. So whenever we have these decisions, sometimes you have to like think about, okay, is this going to be the right decision or is this the bad decision? What could be the consequences of either or? Either is it good consequences or is it going to be bad consequences that are going to be attached to this decision that I make? So karma comes in different forms. And for me, when I think about it, it's almost like really like planting a seed. And sometimes when you look at those seeds, just like they say with watermelon seeds, if it floats to the top, they good. If they float to the bottom, you know, you can kind of like chunk them. So you can figure that out. Like once you plant something inside of the ground, you know what's going to happen, because a lot of times, like a lot of people, whenever they use the term karma as a bitch, it's definitely because they don't realize, a lot of people don't realize that you might get away with it from other people or other things, but God gave us all something called a conscience, and that's something that bothers you at the time because you know you've done something wrong, and but you're trying to play it off to where it's like, okay, I can get past this. But it might bite you in the ass coming up, you know, and if it don't touch you, it might hit your kids, it might hit the people that you love. So it might not hit you directly, but it can hit your circle. So that's something that you have to keep in your mind, that like it either can benefit me in the long run or it can cause the consequences in the end. I used to always do this, and this is something that I used to always think about when I was ignorant towards credit, right? And it's just like, okay, man, I got 7 years. They're gonna fall off my credit. I don't care about that. You know what I mean? Like, so I got 7 years, and like, but what if you don't have those 7 years? You know what I'm saying? But you plant these seeds of not paying your bills, of not doing what you need to do, but you still want the merchandise or whatever that you inheriting. You trying to get that, but you know in your mind that I can't afford this, but I'm still gonna get it. I don't care what the consequences is right now. We are right now people. So we always want everything right now. It gotta happen right now. And if it don't happen right now, we panic, we go in a tizzy, and you know, we fall. You know, especially like in the other countries, they look at us as spoiled people because we have a lot of stuff at our fingertips and we can go make it happen. So transferring that, like having that seed that I was talking about, when you water that seed, you watering it and you expecting a harvest from it. But what if that harvest don't produce the right leaves, the right branches, the right fruit for you to be able to bite on? Because everybody know, they always say, oh, it's a bad apple, there's a rotten apple in every bunch, you know? So you have to look at that as well, man, because like I'm talking about fruits, but I'm talking about coming from a perspective of how you can use these simple tools to like use this as a great way to use karma in a good way. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to always be negative, like you brought out, Ty, about karma as a bitch. It don't always have to be a bitch. It could be a good good person. It could be a good thing, you know, but if you use it right, but we always key in on the negative part. Because once I hear karma, people hear the word karma and they freak out automatically, because it's like it's automatically got a negative definition to it because of how we always thinking about, oh, karma's coming to get you. You know, so what about that good karma that we talking about right now? That good seed that you're sowing, that you looking forward to, and never, you know, whenever farmers see they harvest, they excited because it's like, okay, man, I got some good fruit here. I'm gonna throw out the bad, blah blah blah. But I know I planted good seed and good soil. I took care of that seed, and I watched it grow and I watered it to where it needs to be. So good karma to me is really basically what you sow into the ground, like what you sow as a person, and how you treat others and how you treat things and situations, you know, just having a clear conscience of what you're doing.
100%, man. You know, I was kind of gonna say the same thing. You know, what you put out, whatever you put out, returns back to you.
Right.
The energy that you put out into this universe, into the world, returns back to you. You know, it's almost like what Malcolm X said, the chicken's coming home to roost.
Oh yeah.
You know, when in Malcolm X, I mean, in the movie, but I mean that's what he would say as well. But it's the same. It's the same thing. Meaning, like when he was saying by that is that all that bad negative stuff that, you know, we refer back to them times when, you know, white people was, you know, had people, you know, us as black people enslaved and, you know, treating us harshly and stuff like that. And then bad things start happening. Like, I mean, he was referring to, you know, JFK being assassinated, but that's when he said, you know, that's the chickens coming home to roost. That's him saying on a general level, the energy and the things that the, you know, that group of people put out was coming back home to them. It's returning back to them, you know. And so it's just like you said, you know, you are responsible for the energy that you put out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I said, karma. People say all till they blue in the face, "Oh, karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch." But you got to check yourself when you're saying that. That's not coming. That energy is not coming out of nowhere. You know, and it's not. It's not going to return back to you when you expect it. You know, you don't know when it's going to return back to you, but you can best believe that it will. You know, and so it really has. You know, stuff like that really keeps it in perspective how to treat people, how to move in this thing called life. Because if there's like, especially if there's something that you know you could have done, or if you're treating somebody disrespectfully when you had no reason to, when you could have easily took care of that, you know, took care of it and did something, you know, did a good deed, but you chose not to because it might not have been, you know, your job, so to speak, or whatever, or you just might, you just might not have wanted to, or whatever. But it's like those things, those small things, will return back to you, and you might not know when, and you'll be like, you know, man, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Well, that's it. That's that seed being sowed. You know, and so it's just really, at the end of the day, man, it's just important that you are the best person that you could possibly be. You know, it's not difficult either. It's not difficult. You know, it's the whole golden rule: treat people as you want to be treated.
Yep, I was about to say that.
Bottom line, it's the golden rule. You know what I mean? Like, and not just people. There's situations where, you know, you could do something behind closed doors, or that's what do they say? What's done in the dark will come to the light. It's the same kind of thing. That's karma. You know, so if you are constantly doing the best you can to make sure that, you know, you're not doing something that's going to slight somebody, or you're not doing something that's going to, you know, um, just put out negative energy, you're gonna be good, man. You know, I mean, like I said, but at the same token, the rain, what they say, another saying, the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. You know, we all go through bad times. We all have bad things that happen to us because that's just what life is, right? That's just what life is. Life is not going to be all cake and ice cream at all the time. You are going to experience some some downfalls, or some things that are going to test your will. But there are them things that happen, and you're like, this can't be life. Like, what is going on here? But like I said, man, the only thing that you can do is make sure that you're being your best self at all times. You can't you just don't know when, like I said, when something's going to return back to you. So it's like, you might as well be a good person. You know what I'm saying? You might as well be great and be a nice person, not necessarily a nice person, but a good person, because there's a difference between being nice and good. You know, it's about being a good person. Mm-hmm. So it's just important to me, like, I've been in situations and throughout life that, there's been things that I look back, I could have, it's like, man, that was that karma, right then and there. But other times, like I spoke about it last week, like as far as being homeless and things like that, that was a situation that I needed to happen in my life for me to get to a new level and a new understanding of the importance of different, like the credit situation and saving and stuff like that. That, to me, that wasn't necessarily karma. That was a matter of a life experience that needed to happen so I could fully elevate. But there were situations also when things might have happened. It's like, oh, why? I just don't understand. Well, you know what? That's because you did this such and such and such back in the day. So you just never know. So that's why, like I said, it's just best that you put your best out every day, and let the chips fall where they may. And like I said, the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. That's one quote that I won't ever forget. And it's just going to happen. But you can keep your karma right by just being a good person and doing the best that you can to look out for other people, look out for not be deceitful, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, because you can attest to this. You're a couple years older than me, but we didn't never used to hear the word karma back in the day. It was always, if you had lied or something like that, they would say, "Oh, you gonna get struck by God, or you go, do unto others that you need to do unto you," and all these things. And it just brings me back because that always goes to when we were smaller. We was taught right from wrong, right? It's good or bad. If you lie, my mom used to say, if you lie, you're going to steal, you're going to cheat, you're going to die. She used to always tell me that. And it was like, okay, like I know in my mind, like, okay, that's not the right thing to do. So if I do these things, it's going to cause this to happen to me. And they used to scare me as a kid. You know what I mean? So I wanted to live. I wanted to be able to do what I need to do. But it didn't really affect me until, starting to be to this new age, and we call it karma now. Mm-hmm. It didn't affect me until one of my last relationships before I got married the first time. And I just, man, I didn't care, man. I just rapidly just that woman try to give me everything, and I just abused that whole thing. Not physically, even none of that. I'm just saying, like, I just abused the situation because I just took her kindness for granted, and was doing whatever. And it was all the way until I was about to get divorced. I got in contact with her because I had told her, I said, hey, look, whatever I done to you, understand that I got it back tenfold, a hundredfold, because I was trying to be her in my relationship, and I end up being hurt by myself inside of the relationship because my ex-wife turned into me. So I got my heart broke. I never knew what heartbroken was until all of that happened, and she was like, I respect this phone call. I never heard from her again, but that's what I needed to do. That I felt like I needed to clear my conscience, to clear myself from what happened, because now I'm cautious with people's hearts. You get what I'm saying? It's like, now it's like, because I have one and I know how that felt whenever I was getting cheated on and all this other stuff that was happening. So that part of my brain, it just helps me understand, like, okay, like with every single decision, it's like, okay, just, is this gonna set you up or is it gonna set you back? The decision that you make, can it affect your family? Is it going to affect you as a person? It can, and like I said, sometimes you could be dead and gone, but it'll fall on your kids, or the people that you love that's around you. So you have to be very careful in your decision making, especially as an adult, because the kids, they have time to kind of like get themselves together. They immature. They're not to the point where we are maturely, where we should be, so thinking about that is something that helps me and motivates me to do the right thing, you know what I mean? So but yeah, man, just like what you had said, man, do unto others if you want them to do unto you, because you give back, you get back what you give. And once you give that, like, it's almost like Indian giving. If I give you a gift, Ty, and I'm like, you know what, Ty, I don't like your attitude, I'll take it away. I'm an Indian giver, you know. So you gotta, but if I give it with love and respect and like, hey, bro, this is what I got you, boom, 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 cool, man. That's a gift, and people love seeds, the good seeds as well. So that's how you treat people the right way. You're going to get that good karma back. You know what I mean? So it's like, I remember when I was homeless. And so it was like that same girl, man, and I got inside her head to get inside the house, but I end up liking her, but it was hard for me because I didn't know how to distinguish the two. But I always had prayed to the universe and told him that I want you to like bless this woman, like give her everything that she need, make sure, because I knew my heart wasn't in the right place. You know what I mean? So, but I knew her kind gesture towards me was going to make sure that she gets what she needs in life. And I hope and pray that she's still doing well right now. You know what I mean? Because she didn't have to do that. But I had my motive. And that's another thing too. Watch your motive. You know what I'm saying? Your motive can really, if you have the motive of doing something wrong, and that can come back on you too. So like I had that motive of like, hey, I'm homeless, I gotta get in this house. And that was my motive. I ain't gonna lie. So, and that's what I did. But then I end up liking her. But at the end of the day, I just was like, my prayer was for her to get what she needed from helping me. You get what I'm saying? And I asked the universe to like bless anything that she come in contact with that she wants or whatever, give it to her because of her grace, her gratitude, and her gracious kindness that she had towards me. And I'm out here, I'm trying to survive. I'm in survival mode. But a lot of that time, I had realized, I was like, okay, the seeds that I have been sowing and the hearts that I have been breaking, I say I'd rather not get inside of those situations anymore. That's what made me just come to a halt and stop talking to multiple women and all this other stuff, because it was like, man, I end up hurting them and I don't feel like I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? But it's the situation. It's when you have to sit back and think about, what are you doing? You know? And it was like, I'm like, how can I fix this problem? It's easy. Stop talking to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go work on yourself right now until you're ready to get to that person that you want. It's gonna come to you, and it's gonna come to you funfold. But right now, work on yourself, get yourself together, and make sure that you don't get yourself in these situations anymore.
Nah, man, you said a lot, man. That's real talk, man. You know, it's we gotta watch out how we're treating people, because that right there is going to, for the most part, dictate, you know, having that good or bad karma. You know, and that's something that, you know, I gotta, and like I said, being in survival mode for such a long time, or even in those times in life when you might not have had too many people who had your back. So in turn, like as you continue to grow and get older, you're not necessarily thinking about them. You know, like you say, you're in survival mode, so you can't really discern if this is good or bad in a sense. I mean, you might be able to know to a degree, but you're in a sense you're thinking about yourself, you know, more than you're thinking about protecting your, you know, self-preservation is what it is. You know, you're thinking about making sure that you got a place to stay for the night. You should make sure that you know, and however it may, whatever it may be, you know, you gotta you're taking advantage of that situation. A lot of times it's bad. It's not the good, you know. So yeah, man, it's just highly important that we keep all that information, all that in perspective. Um, you know, I remember like there's been many times when, you know, I can think about um, even growing up. You know, like I remember having one of my first jobs, and I would hook people up with food. You know what I mean? Like they come to the counter, boom, and I'd hook them up, like, you know, boom, 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 put it on, you know, all kind of food in the bag and shit, right? And then I remember like it was, you know, it took me a while to realize what happened, but once I was like, yeah, that's why. So it's like, you know, yeah, like I said, I'd be at work, boom, taking care of, you know, hooking people up, like, yo, yeah, I got you, I'm gonna hook you up. Like, yo, you know. But then there was one time I was, you know, went out to go play hoop, and I had like a $50 bill, right? Instead of putting it inside my sock, like, you know, basically, you know, inside my sock on the bottom of my foot,
Right.
put it in my shoe in the bottom of my foot, right?
Mm.
And we playing hoop. It's at like, you know, it's late night with the wire or something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever. And I go to look for my money, and it's gone. $50 bill gone. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm 17. We all around the same age. Somebody snacked. Somebody got like we like I said, we hooping, and it probably came up out of my shoe. You know what I mean? Somebody found it, picked it up, put it in their pocket. Ain't saying a word. Who gonna say something at that age?
Yeah.
Nobody gonna give up no $50 bill. Nobody gonna give that up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, somebody took that shit. But rightfully so, because I'm sitting here in a sense stealing from the job, giving people food that they didn't pay for. But I'm thinking I'm doing good by. So there's a saying, man, and it's funny because it's like I didn't really realize what it meant for a long time, and it's still kind of cloudy to me. But this is the perfect example. There's a saying: "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
So, like when me thinking, it's like, so it's like, what does that mean, right? What does that truly mean? $50, my $50 comes up missing. Like I'm thinking I'm doing a good deed by hooking the people up, you know what I'm saying? making sure that they, you know, like, yeah, hey, Tyrus, man, he hooked that shit up, man. Like that's the homie, that's what's up. So it's like it's good for my psyche or my energy, you know what I mean? My ego, if you want to be keeping it
Mm-hmm.
up. But in the same turn, I lose that money. So even though I was doing a good deed, or you know, I had good intentions on taking care of my people, I was still taken from the company. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like that's karma. Even though like I felt like it was a good, my intentions were good because like I said, I want to take care of my people, but it's the road to hell. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So even though you might think that you're doing something, making a good deed or doing something right, in the long run, you really know that you shouldn't be doing that shit. And it's not beneficial. So yeah, man, karma is one of those things that you are the protector of it. You are the protector of it. Nobody else but you. And like you said, I never even thought about the fact that it might not come back on you, but it could come back on your, you know, your seeds, your grandkids. You know, it could come back on your family. That's real. I never even really thought about it like that, but it's possible. You know what I mean? Like it could happen.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you aren't doing. You gotta make sure that you're doing just for the out of the kindness of being a good person, out of the just being a good person. So that way you are protecting your family, you are protecting everybody, your close circle around you, because they'll be like, well, why do we deserve this? And they won't even know. But you will. Well, I mean, if you're gone, you know can't think about it, but still, it's just one of those things that you know you got to make sure that you are protecting you and your people around you. And like I said, it's not difficult. It's just a matter of like there was a time I'm at a store, right? And I don't know why because the lady must have thought that I was an employee or something. Like, I don't know. I don't work here. You know what I mean? Like she asked me a question and it's like I kind of responded like I don't know. I don't work here. You know what I mean? I had the answer. I had the answer. But as opposed to helping her, at first I said, you know, I don't know, I don't work here, you know, just because it's like, why you asking me? And you know, what I mean, that's not my job. I don't know.
Right.
But I stopped myself and was like, you know what? Help that woman real quick. Just help her real quick. And it's not going to hurt you. You know what I mean? Like it's not taking anything away from you if you just answer that woman's question real quick. So I answered her question real, like at least how I thought at least what I thought was the right answer. Like I said, at first I was like, you know, I said, I don't work here. You know, then I quickly was like, but you know, I think it's probably over, you know, like she might have been asking where something is, and I think I might have said, you know, I gave her the answer, you know, and so that was just me stepping back and saying, look, she's a harmless woman, harmless lady, just looking for help her real quick. You know, it's not that difficult. You know, I'll be in stores all the time, and you know, people it can get difficult because I mean I am there to trying to doing what I can to get my job done, and I have to focus and make sure that my job is getting done. Otherwise, I can be there all day. Um, but a lot of times somebody will ask, like, oh, do you work here or are you? I was like, yeah, I don't actually work here. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that I don't say it I don't give an attitude or anything. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like a lot of times I'll just if it's something if it's in that aisle, if it's in that that vicinity right there, I don't have I got you, or if a customer might need me to reach something because I'm taller than a lot of I'm not short, so it's like a lot of times they might need me to, okay, can you do me a quick favor? Can you grab this? I got you, no problem. Let me grab that for you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I don't work here. You got to ask them employees. I'm right there. She just needs me to grab something. She just needs me to grab something for him real quick. Boom, let me grab it. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Or a lot of times I'll be like, I'm actually not an employee, but if you ask this person, this gentleman right here, I'm sure they can help you and point you in the right direction. You know what I mean? So it's just the small stuff. It's just the little things like that to where, yeah, it might take a minute out of my time of me, doing my job, but at the same time, it's providing the whatever little bit of help that I can and giving it. That's gonna keep your karma in
Real.
good too. You know, like I left like I told you guys the other day. I had forgot my device at a store and didn't realize it until I got all the way back to my distribution center and had to drive all the way back to that store, and it was sitting in that same place, sitting right there, right where I left it. The lady was like, "Oh man, I don't know. I have nobody turned anything in, but there was also a bunch of little, young school kids in here, over here by this section as well." So I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like I kind of started panicking a little bit, but then I look a little bit further, and it was boom right there. You know, young kids see, you know what I mean? An iPhone, you know, like, and that's just the universe. They might not have seen it. Thankfully, but that's just the universe. Keeping being that. I felt like that shows where my karma is. If my karma wasn't as on point, they would have jacked that phone. I got to explain to a manager like, "Yo, I lost the device." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a cheap phone. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just one of those things that, like I said, a couple of the employees are like, "Yo, you got lucky because a bunch of them kids was in here." I was like, you know what? Hey, man, that's good karma. That's keeping my karma intact. So as long as, and that will keep you on point too. When stuff like that happens, will keep you on point, because it's like, that could have easily went the wrong way. Could have easily went the other direction. And then you're in a situation where you're like, that could be a write up, that could be a strike, that could be, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, man, it's just up to you to make sure that you're keeping all that intact. And at the end of the day, if you're being a good person, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do.
Bro, I have a very similar story to tell, just like what you went through, man. I used to work at McDonald's. The same thing, bro, and after football season, I used to play football and stuff. So all the basketball players would come in there, At one particular guy, bro, I used to hook this dude up every time, bro. Every time. And my manager fill the sandwich and be like, "Well, damn, like how many meat you put on here?" Like, but she was cool, so she let me kind of hook them up or whatever. But he worked at Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A was a luxury. It's still a luxury. You know what I mean? It's like out of the fast food chains, and it's like, man, you work at Chick-fil-A. So every time I would go over there, Ty, I go over there and be like looking for the hookup. Man, I can't do it. Why, bro? You know what I'm saying? Well, I hook you up all the time. Bro, he would never, ever. And I used to be so mad at him. But now I understand the story behind it, because he respected the rules. You get what I'm saying? So the rules, everybody got some type of rules that, like I was saying, like you was dishing them out, I was dishing them out. Nobody caught us. Well, particularly mine kind of saw it a little bit, but
Right,
nobody
same thing,
caught
yeah.
us and said anything about it. But there's the something that I said earlier, is that conscience. And when he realized, man, I can't do that, man. I might lose my job. I took a risk, but I took a risk. I should have thought about it too. Whenever the peer pressure came and said, "Can you hook me up? Put the double meat patty on there when you only pay for one." And
Right.
I'm hooking you up, but in the back of my mind, like you just brought out, that's stealing, right? And like you said, my intentions was good because I'm hooking the homies up. I'm hooking everybody up that come through there. I was the burger man, bro. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
then I realized, I was like, man, so when I used to be mad at him, it took me a while to get it. You know what I'm saying? I totally get it now as I tell this story.
Yeah.
Because I know that he was doing it for some reason. Because now, would I do that now? No, I wouldn't. Because I know better. I know better.
Right.
I know that, like, hey, man, you got to pay for a service. I had a business before. You have a business. You feel what I'm saying? So would I get the discount? Hey, Ty, hook me up with a discount, dog. You know, nah, man. Like, I'm gonna pay full price just like the other person, that customer paying full price.
Yep.
Always like, what's your motive, dog? What is your motive? Are you coming in this trying to get something out of somebody? Or are you really consciously want to see that person succeed, or want to, invest in that person's business or in their lives or whatever? So we can have the wrong motive, and like you said, we can have pure intentions, but our minds can be messed up towards how we thinking about going about doing it. You know what I mean? So that was a good story, because me and you have a lot of similar stories, man. And that one there, it brought me back to that, because I was like, man, one of them playing by the rules and one of them not.
Yeah.
Is inside of the employee handbook. If you get caught stealing, you get caught. So we automatically thinking, oh, okay, I ain't stealing no money out of the cash register.
Right.
But you actually, you putting an extra patty on this that the company paid for.
Yep.
You putting an extra patty on top of that bun. That's stealing, though.
Yeah.
So however you look at it, you can't look at it. You got to look at it the right way and what it is. It is what it is. So when you brought that story up, it kind of made me realize, I was like, damn, I was really stealing too. I was like, kind of like hooking these fools up, and nobody giving me nothing in return. And picture that. Picture you lose your job, or you go get criminal offenses, or anything that can happen, and nobody going to hook you up whenever you go to theirs.
Right.
Get what I'm saying?
Right.
He had the best goddamn fast food place in history that he worked at. And I couldn't even enjoy that because I was the one that was doing the sowing the wrong seeds.
Yep.
So just like what you said, like, you got to bring it back to your mind, because like that was a good ass point that you brought out about, the hell part, because your intentions are pure. It could be good, all the way. But in the back of the mind, you still know that it's wrong. That's the crazy part. Because you can still have those pure intentions. You try to help somebody, okay. But in the back of your mind, you know that shit's still wrong.
Yeah.
Do you still go with it? Or do you put yourself at a halt and say, look, nah, man, I would like to help y'all, bro, but I can't do this because I'm not in position to do that. I can't write off anything to give you for free, or I can't afford it if it's my business. I can't afford to lose that inventory if it's mine and I'm giving it to you. You know what I mean? So I got to feed the family too. So that person, both of y'all got to be on the right mindset with it. You know what I mean? Because it goes either way. So yeah, man, that was a great point, bro, that you brought out, bro. Because once you brought that up, I was like, man.
Man, you think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think. It makes you think a lot, and then you could go back inside your mind, think about some of the things that you actually done that you wouldn't even realize. Like you said, that was a part of stealing, and you lost that $50 because of it. You know what I'm saying? Or and shortly after that, like a couple months later, I had lost my job over that. And I was like, man, it was just an incident that happened, and I was I ain't gonna say the wrong place at the wrong time. It was karma. It was actually meant to happen. So I sowed all those seeds, and I thought that I was doing the right thing. Like you said, pure intention. I thought I was doing the right thing. But in the back of my mind, I knew it was wrong. So I still did it. So you got to take your lick. And that's another thing. You got to take your lick, whatever consequence come, good or bad. That's why they say in the streets, man, don't go in there snitching up, man. Take your lick. If you did it, you did it, dog. It is what it is. And that's just karma catching up with you.
You think about it too, with like back during Corona when people was doing the PPP loans and coming up with racks and racks, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they realized that, oh shit, we gotta they found out about it. And now you serving time because of some shit that you did back during Corona when you thought you was, you knew at the time you was doing the dirty, but you like, oh, I'm coming up. This is a come up. You know what I mean? I'm coming up. What you thought they wasn't gonna catch you? Like you thought you really thought that you was gonna get away with that shit.
Yep.
And then not really, yeah, boom, that's karma. Like but nowadays, I just seen a video too. There's been what was that hack going on at Chase Bank?
Oh yeah.
You see that? How people
Yeah, I saw
was
that.
doing some shady shit, you know, with Chase Bank, and then they ended up fixing the glitch, and somebody tried to do it after they fixed the glitch, which is bank fraud. Let's keep it a buck. You put in fake checks, and they're gonna give you the funds immediately or whatever. You taking out thousands and thousands of dollars. You know it ain't yours. You know. But yeah, somebody got caught up, and she was like, "I can't call my. You ain't gonna let me call my mama. I mean, I know I'm about to go to jail, but I just at least want to be able to call my mom. Nope, you fucked up. You fucked up. What you thought? You know. So like I said, people there's all that, and that's really that's one reason why, man. Like, as I was coming up, people would always want to, ask me if I wanted to do this lick or do this scheme, this fraud,
Yeah.
whatever. But I was a young father. I was a young father, bro, and that was the main reason I was like, nah, man, I'm not gonna do nothing that's gonna put me in jeopardy of me not seeing my son. I'm not doing it. You talking about some shady shit? I'm not doing it. That's gonna put me in a position where my son, I'm gonna be away from my son. I'm not doing it. But nope, I don't care. You can call me a punk. You can call me this. You can call me that. Tell them you blew in the face. I don't give a damn. We get caught up. What's gonna happen? Nope, I'm good. I'm cool. I don't give a damn. You can. I don't care what you feel about me. I'm not doing it, man. Not doing it. So you just gotta be smart, man. Like you gotta really, a lot of stuff is tempting. Things be tempting. It's like, yeah, damn, oof, I want to do it. But you got to think about that, the long run. You got to think about, okay, the long term consequences. If you know it's not a good outcome, it's not going to be a good outcome. Don't put yourself in that position. Don't allow yourself to get put into a position where you got to be like, damn, I wish I would have never done that. Nah, don't let that. It goes back to what we're talking about, last week about controlling your thoughts, not letting them control you. Don't put yourself in a position where this could mess you up, but you still do it anyway, and then it messes you up, and then you be like, man, I wish I would have, could have, would have, should have, whatever. You knew what you was doing was wrong. You should have done it.
Yeah. Right.
So
I was just like that, man, because you said you had your son. I had a little 5'4" woman named Gail, my mother, that I had in the back of my mind when it came to those type of decisions to not do and what to do. So and just like what you was saying, man, especially to the younger generation, younger than us, and like it is like right from wrong. You give me? And it's never too early or too late to learn that.
yeah,
So like going into like peer pressure, and it's a lot of stuff out there that can really peer pressure you into doing the wrong thing. But always sit down and think about, just like Ty said, he had his son. I had my mom. It might be your mom, might be your dad that you respect, or think about the consequences,
yeah,
that can come with it. Jail time, and I'm gonna say this. I'm watching a documentary. It's some guy that he's a great chess player, and he's in prison. And he asks every single person that he mentor and stuff inside of the prison that comes in there, and he asks them, how long did it take you to be here? And everybody be like, what you mean? He's like, how much time did it take? He said mine took 2 minutes and 46 seconds for me to give that time, that little bit of time, into a life sentence, prison sentence. So if you could just stop and just think about, like, before you even do something, you know, out of anger or anything, just try to control yourself to the point where you think about, you know, your kids, or, you know, your mom or your family, your dog, whatever that you feel that's worth you not going to spend a whole bunch of time behind bars. And he would always ask that to people, and then people was like, man, it literally took me 5 minutes to do that armed robbery, you know, and now it cost me 40 years of my time. So the karma comes back, man. You have to, like, realize. And yes, it was a lot of this stuff is openly mistakes, man. It's like mistakes that can be forgiven, is mistakes that cannot, maybe. But there are mistakes. And those mistakes can really cost you. So just pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to how everything moves around you in your life, man, and just make the right decisions that's going to put you ahead of life and not far back from what you cannot even get to. So yeah, just, man, you know, I had that little moment where I was just thinking about the kids too, because I was like, man, it's not like you just said, you know, you had your son that you thought about. I thought about my mama in the back of my mind, because that was things that kept me motivated to stay out of trouble and to, like, go work hard for whatever I want. But in the meantime, I know we ain't perfect. You ain't perfect. I ain't perfect. None of us are.
Right.
And we will make mistakes as well. But make sure that it's not intentional. You know, that's what karma
That's the
is.
key. Yeah.
Yeah, you are doing this intentional, or you might not be even aware of what's going on. That's good karma, because it's like, okay, I'm not aware of, like, this or what's going on. But if you are aware and your conscious know and you know, just think about the consequences, bro,
Yeah.
because it's going to come back.
100%. 100%, man. Yeah, you know, it's like you said to the youth, man. Like, out here, there's all kind of different schemes. There's all kind of different frauds. There's all kind of different stuff that you can get into that might get you something right here and now. But in the long term, in the long run, how beneficial is it really? Like you said, a situation might have took you 5 minutes, and you might have came up a little bit, but that 5, 10 minutes could cost you 5, 10 years, 20 years. You know, like, there's been times when, and, you know, like I said, besides that situation when my first job or whatever, one of my first jobs, you know, it's like there's been many situations where you could have I could have stolen from my place of employment. And I worked for some big companies, you know, but it's going to cost me so much more in the long run. So why would I choose it? Like, people would I work with people who stole a phone, or stole this or stole that. That was maybe 100, $500, maybe 1,000 at most. But you're literally making 50 racks, 50, 60 racks a year. So why would you put a job that's making you that much per year for something that's going? I mean, you might sell for a few $100, and now you out of a job. You're gonna sacrifice 50 grand for 50, for $500, $50, $200. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. Like, I remember there would be times when, like, every month at one of my last jobs, I worked for a big phone company. Um, and every month, like, they show the top performers um, throughout the region or whatever, so they go store by store and show the top performers. And every month it was the same 2 or 3 dudes at, like, say, one, two specific stores or whatever, that were leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. And every month he'd be like, hold up, wait a minute. This dude has this many sales, but the next closest person has 100 or 200 less sales than this person. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. They doing some ain't right. Something was, it just wasn't right. You know what I mean? And so come to find out, yeah, they were doing some shady shit. It wasn't that just that, you were that good at your job that you were able to sell that much more than the next person. Nah, man. When the gap is extremely wide, it was, and they basically, they were just getting greedy. They were getting greedy and doing way too much, and then that put them under investigation, and then boom, they ended up getting fired, and probably some charges against them and shit. But it just didn't make any sense. It's like, how are you doing all this when the next person that's next to you isn't doing? You're doing a third and 2/3, almost 50% more than what they're doing. It's obvious that you ain't doing something right. You know what I mean? So yeah, you might have got away with it for a certain amount of time, but a lot of times these people they do what they can to build a case. They're not just trying to get you, the first month that you do it or whatever. Yeah, you thinking, oh shit, I'm good. I'm gonna keep going. You gonna keep going. They know people are greedy. They know people will continue to take and take and take and take. So they're just building the case, and then all of a sudden they got all this against you. Like, boom, this is what we know. To where you can't deny it. You know what I'm saying? You fucked up that much. Yeah. You got that greedy, and you can't deny it. Just like we're talking about with the PPP loans and I said these Chase Bank schemes. Like, I seen one video, one picture. It was like there's like 50 people waiting outside Chase Bank for them to open up, and it's mostly us. It was mostly us too. You think they're not gonna catch on to something? They caught on real quick, fixed the glitch. Lady tried to come in there and take out a large amount of money. The fraud team flagged it. They called the cops. Cops was in there, and the bank person pretty much broke down what she was trying to do. And he went over and was like, "Yeah, we gotta arrest you and such and such and such. And no, you can't call your parents. You can't call your moms. Not, So you just gotta be smart, man. It's not that difficult. Yeah. It's not that difficult, man. Like, it's almost like, when you are like, when I look forward to, like I said, owning my own chain of convenience stores. That's something that I'm looking at, that I would want to make happen. But it's like, don't steal from me. I don't want, don't ever feel like you gotta steal from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, come holler at me, talk to me. I'll probably take care of you. You might have to put, do a little work for me or something. You know what I mean? But up front, I'm gonna be like, look, man, you need something, I got you. Mm-hmm. Don't feel like you gotta steal from me. Don't stick down my employees up. You might have hit a lick. You might think that you're hitting a lick right now. But if you just come talk to me, I could probably, I'll take care of you. Like, and that's just what it is, man. Speak up. If you're in a dire situation, things ain't going well at home or whatever the case may be, just reach out. We know it might be easier for you to say, you know what, because you're thinking about the right here and now. Okay, I'm gonna steal this and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna get it, and that's just what it's gonna be. But if you just speak up and say, hey, you know what I mean, like, I'm going through a tough time right now. If you could do this for me, I'd appreciate it. Boom. I'm gonna take care of you. You know, plain and simple. So,
yeah,
yeah, you are your karma. That's what I like to say, man. People like I said, we've been talking about earlier. People will say, you know, karma's a bitch. No, you are your karma. So whatever your karma is representing, just like you,
that's what it is.
just what it is. You know what I mean? Just like you designed the life that you live, that you're living right now, where you are in life is because of you. So if you don't like where your life is right now, you have the power to change it. So if your karma is not what you like, guess who has the power to change it? You do.
You do.
Straight up. Straight up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
It's one of them ones again, man.
I'm telling you, bro. Like it's easy. It's easy. When you realize it, it's one of the easiest things to do. Just be good people.
Yeah.
Don't take advantage of people. Don't, treat people wrong. And speak and put life into people. And at the end of the day, like I said, you're gonna go through bad times. Things are gonna happen because that's just what life is. But there's also a line between, you know, bad karma and life just hitting you, to make you a better person, to make you elevate, make you, say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of going through this shit. Let me level up, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we all go through different trials in life too, man. So, like all the time, sometimes people can be doing the right thing and it's, life not going the way that they needed to go, but you could still understand that, good karma still gonna come to you. Just like what Ty brought out earlier about, your motives and everything too as well, man. So like as long as your heart is in the right place and if you're trying to do the right thing and your conscience is in line with that, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. Now, if you don't, you playing it off in front of us and acting like you're doing this and doing that, and in the back of your mind, you got a whole nother plan. You might have to check that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's one of them talks, man. And I just appreciate you, brother, because some of the points that you brought out, it made me think about some things that in my past that I remember, that could possibly been the cause of the roadblocks that I went through a lot in life too as well, So and it's like ain't nothing to beat yourself up on, stuff like that. But it's just like you gotta learn from your mistakes and from those karma. I know now not to go fuck my credit up. You know what I mean? Like I don't have that kind of time anymore. I was young, like 7 years for it to fall off. That's what we know to do. Okay, man, it's gonna take 7 years, it's gonna fall off, then you can try. Nobody got that kind of time, bro. Like so, just shout out to Complex Key and Hen, man, and to my brothers, man, all of my people across the nation that's listening to this live. And we like we said, man, we hear and we understand what you go through because we go through it too. So we wouldn't be talking about it. We didn't go through it, or we are going through it right now. You feel me? So we all in a crisis. We all trying to figure life out. But just remember, doing the good things will put you ahead of life. Just like with that future that we talked about last week. What do you have in mind to get there? Like Ty brought out, what are you going to do to get there? Like, what are the things you're going to do? So, and good karma comes with that too. So, you might get your little blessings and everything if you do the right thing. So have your plans and do what you do. Take care of you and your family.
Yes, sir, Ski. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
Yeah.
Another great one, man. You know what I mean? Like, some good stuff. Like I said, shout out to Brother Hen and Complex Key, man. Like, we'll see y'all back next week. But in the meantime, we want to thank everybody who continues to tap in. And like I said, man, we always say don't hesitate to give us any kind of feedback. we're always willing to take it and do what we can to make sure that we apply it. Right, that's the idea. To make sure that we apply it. So, yeah. Until next week, we will see y'all later on Mindset. Jay Hunter. For Brother Hand and for Complex Key, this is Bro Foundation. We gone.
We out.
Peace, y'all.